Hi, it's Mel from Philanthropy Expert and PE Fundraising Academy. I just wanted to throw out a little video to help educate people on the differences between a donor advised fund and a foundation and when to use each one of those tools. I usually hear this question: should I start a foundation, from folks after they've had some sort of liquidity event? So that could be selling a business, that could be receiving a significant inheritance from a family member. It's usually something like that when somebody comes into a lot of wealth very quickly and wants to figure out what to do with those dollars because they are charitably inclined and want to give back to the community, but they just don't know the best way. I did have one client who said, I just want one organization. I'm going to give all $20 million away to one place, which I wouldn't recommend. I would recommend a donor advised fund or a foundation, but probably a donor advised fund if you just had $20 million fall into your lap that you want to get rid of. So the difference really comes down to, in my opinion, the amount of money that we're talking about. So remember, with foundations, you need to distribute 5% a year. And so if you are talking about $5 million, well, that'll distribute about $250,000 a year, which is not insignificant. It is significant. But in my opinion, if you are going to be distributing $250,000 a year, you don't need to have staff. You have this wonderful tool in the form of a donor advised fund, which you can use. And it functions just like a foundation, right? You can distribute dollars to the organizations that you know and love, that you care about. You can get I think, a reasonable level of philanthropic service support from their staff. Because usually, if you're doing a donor advised fund, it's coming from a community foundation, which has a philanthropic services department, or coming from a big um, financial institution like a Schwab or Fidelity that also has a philanthropic services department. So you can get that level of guidance that you would get from a foundation staff person, but you're getting it from a person who's not a full-time employee, and you're paying way less in terms of administrative fees. So if you're doing a foundation, you probably have an accountant and a lawyer who are going to work on your foundation reporting for you each year. They're probably going to charge you for board meetings. You're just going to get charged a lot of extra money. Whereas if you have a donor advised fund, it's housed nicely and safely either at this community foundation or at this bank, and they're charging you a nominal fee. And some people would say that the fee is actually not nominal. It could be as much as 10%. But to me, I would rather spend that 10% knowing that it is going back to, in my case, I have a donor advised fund, to a community foundation. That money is supporting the work of the community foundation. And I'm getting really great guidance from the philanthropic services department. The other thing I like about donor advised funds is if you have one that's being held at a community foundation, you are invited to all of the community foundation's educational programming. So you have the opportunity to meet other donors. You have the opportunity to hear from nonprofit leaders, to understand trends in philanthropy. And I think that is a much better investment. Listen, if you are, starting with a fund that's $20 million or more, I do think a foundation makes sense. At that point, you might want to have your own staff if you're distributing, $1 million plus a year. But if it's less than that, I feel like the donor advised fund is the way to go. Reach out to me at expert@philanthropyexpert.org if you want my recommendations on great community foundations, great financial institutions that have good DAF programs and good financial and philanthropic services departments. So reach out to me and I will send you to the folks that I know and love. Good luck.